experts. I call them this side.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You have a microphone for the harmonium?
Yeah.
And then, Devotee Prabhu, we're going to need one devotee to chant the slokas, like that other devotee did. It doesn't have to be Bengali, but somebody who can read a little slokas. Who's a good reader? No, he's not here. I checked.
He would like somebody to read. Read. How was the 12th chapter?
His name was Uddhava. I'm sorry, what is it?
Are we going to recite the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
We're going to be chanting the Bengali slokas that Prabhupada wrote. You just have to read them off the screen. It's not too hard. Okay. Thank you. Whoever's doing it, if I can talk with them a moment. Okay. Remember we did the other day. Well, I'll explain. This is like Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Chaitanya. They took my computer. You don't sham this. So, if you like, you sit here. If you want, yeah. We can both read off the screen. Okay. Yes, please. Thank you, Prabhu. Don't worry. So, there's two melodies. Da 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 da. So, most of the slokas have two couplets, so you can use the two melodies.
Hare Krishna.
You don't have to stand. Expert.
Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. All right, we're ready? So you please keep the right. Could you back up a little bit? Back up. There we go. Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Bol.
Tonight we're going to read from chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. Should we be translating or English is okay? Okay. So welcome everybody and thank you for coming. We're going to be chanting some bhajan so it will be easier to hear with the devotees coming through for darshan. Tonight we'll be singing a beautiful section of Bhagavad Gita on devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12. This book, Gita was written by Srila Prabhupada in 1962. Srila Prabhupada was living alone, our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada was living alone in Vrindavan. There were no temples, no disciples, no money. He was just writing Srimad Bhagavatam. But he also found time to put all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita into Bengali couplets. This series was published in his godbrother's magazine, Bengali magazine. Later, 11 years later, after he had started ISKCON and had a publishing arm, he compiled these chapters into a booklet called Gitargan, which means singing the Bhagavad Gita. So the Bengali public has loved this book. It purchased millions of copies, but it has never been translated into English before now. So tonight we're going to sing Srila Prabhupada's original Bengali words for this chapter along with the English translations. And then we'll discuss a little bit, darshan crowd willing. Okay, so the format is very simple. We'll sing the Bengali and then responsively, and then we'll sing the English responsively, okay? So, my good friend here is volunteering. Thank you.
ये शुद्ध भक्त से कृष्ण तो माते सतत अनन्य भक्तिर द्वारा ये था के युक्ता.
ये शुद्ध भक्त से कृष्ण तो माते सतत अनन्य भक्तिर द्वारा ये था के युक्ता.
आरा ये अव्यक्तवादी अव्यक्त अक्षरे निष्काम कर्म करी सदा चिंता करे.
Araye avyaktavari avyakta akshare nishkama karama kare sada chintakari.
तारा मध्य के उत्तम योग विधाय जानी बार इच्छा मोरा करह निश्चय.
Tara madhye keva uttama yoga vidhaya janabara ichcha mora karaha nishchaya. Go. Oh Krishna, I've another question, kindly now respond.
Oh Krishna, I have another question, kindly now respond.
Should one seek pure devotion or should one pursue Brahman?
Should one seek pure devotion or should one pursue Brahman?
To worship the unmanifest transcends mundane desires.
To worship the unmanifest transcends mundane desires.
Is proper service in devotion definitely higher?
In proper service in devotion definitely higher. Amara swarupa ye yara mana sada आविष्ट हैया थाके उपासना रुधा
Amara Svar.
श्रद्धार सहित करे प्राण भक्ति माया उत्तम योगीर श्रेष्ठ कहिनु निश्चय
Shraddhara Sahita. A faithful servant fixed upon my personal appearance is surely better off than the unmanifest adherents. Their hearts indeed, their very lives engaged in pleasing me. Devotees are the topmost yogis, that is guaranteed.
is guaranteed. अक्षर अव्यक्त सक्त निर्दिष्ट भाव इंद्रिय संयय करी ऐतिशी स्वभाव सर्वव्यापी अचिंत्य कूटस्थ अचल ध्रुव निर्विशेष सत्वे थाकिया अटल समबुद्धि हये सब करे उपासना से आमा के प्राप्त हय करिया साधना
समबुद्धि हये सब Yet those who choose to worship the unmanifest Brahman, the state that is immovable, unchanging, and beyond, common understanding can achieve self-mastery. They're equally disposed to all and slowly come to me.
They are to come. किंतु ये मात्र भेद ज्ञान उभयेर मध्ये भक्त पाय अतिशीघ्र आर कष्टे सिद्धे
किंतु ये मात्र भेद
अव्यक्त आसक्त से बहु क्लेश तार अव्यक्त ये गति दुख देहिर अपार
The only difference in these paths is ease of execution. Devotees progress easily while mystics face confusion. Pursuing the unmanifest while dealing with a body creates a slew of troubles for the seeker of samadhi. Manifest while dealing with the body creates a slew of troubles for the seeker of samadhi.
ये आमार संबंधित सब कर्म करे आमार स्वरूप ये नित्य ध्यान करे जीवन ये मोरे स्नापी आमते सासक्त अनन्य ये भाव भक्ति ताहे अनुरक्त
जीवन ये मोरे स्नापी आमते सासक्त
से भक्त के मृत्यु रूप ये संसार हाते उद्धार करीब शीघ्र जान भाल माते
Devotees render service as they meditate on me. They dedicate their life and heart in each activity. Released from speculation and from craving the mundane, they quickly are delivered from this world of death and pain.
अतएव तुम्ही येई द्विभुज स्वरूपे ये मन बुद्धि स्थिर कर भगवत स्वरूपे. अमार ये नित्य रूपे नित्य युक्त हाले अवश्य पाइबे प्रेम सर्वश्रेष्ठ फले. ऊर्ध्वगति से जान न कर संशय सर्वोच्च फलतः कहिनु निश्चय.
So therefore fix your mind on my two-handed form as the essential form of Godhead in full personality. Stay linked with my eternal form and love of God is there, undoubtedly a boon with which no other goal compares.
यदि से सहज भावे हो असमर्थ अभ्यास योगे ते कर लाभ परमार्थ. विधि मार्गे राग मार्गे ये वा मोरे चाय अचिरात से अभ्यासे लोक मोरे पाय.
But if you cannot simply fix your consciousness on me, then offer service in devotion systematically. Regardless if it's born of love or yogic regulation, such service quickly brings one into my association.
Association अभ्यासे ओ असमर्थ यदि तुम्ही हो अमारा लागिया कर्मे सदा युक्त रहो.
अभ्यासे ओ असमर्थ यदि तुम्ही हो
अमारा संतोष जन्य एवा कार्य हय जानियो से सब मोरे प्राप्तिर उपाय.
And if you cannot render service so straightforwardly, convert your normal work into an offering for me. To labor for me in this way invokes my satisfaction and draws you closer to me due to ever-ripening attraction. And draws you to me due to ever-ripening attraction.
ताहाते हो यदि तव शक्तिर अभाव भक्ति योग आश्रयेते विरुद्ध स्वभाव. तबे से वैदिक कर्म त्यजी कर्म फल अवश्य साधिवे तुम्ही यत्ने ते परवल.
If you're too weak to work for me and care not for devotion, there yet remains another path to spiritual promotion. There yet remains another path. Instead of simply working in a selfish way, begin to do some work for others and be satisfied within.
Satisfied within. Bhakti yoge asamartha yeva abhyasi bhal. Tahate ye asamartha gyane te sufala. ताहाते ओ असमर्थ आत्मचिंता श्रेय ताहाते ओ असमर्थ कर्म योग श्रेय काम्य कर्मे सुख नाही त्याग इ उत्तम त्याग इ शांतिर मूल ताते नाही भ्रम.
To summarize, to serve in pure ecstatic love is best. If that's too much, by practicing devotion you'll progress. If that's too... If that's too much, then study as the learned soul suggests. If that's too much, to meditate within yourself is next. If that's too much, some action linked to God is still success. For lusty, selfish actions never bring you happiness. In summary, for peace of mind, renounce all selfishness.
अमार ये भक्त सर्व गुणेर आधार सकलेर मित्र य हिंसा नहीं तार. भक्त नहे हिंसार पात्र भक्त से करुणा जीवेर दुर्दशा हेरी सदा दुखी मन. देहे आत्मा बुद्धि भ्रम भक्तेर से नाई निर्ममो निरंकार दुखेर बालाई.
My pure devotees always manifest good qualities. They're kind to everybody else and have no jealousy. Non-envious in seeing soul ahead of the mundane. Devotees can compassionately fathom others' pain. Devotees know that everything belongs to the Supreme. Devotees do without the common egoistic dreams.
सर्वतः संतुष्ट योगी से दृढ़ निश्चय यत्नशील निज कार्य आमाते विलय. तार कार्य मन प्राण आमाते नियुक्त आमार से प्रिय भक्त सर्वदाई मुक्त.
Devotees are self-satisfied and resolute to serve. Engaged in pleasing me, their equanimity preserve. By offering their mind, their life, their intellect to me, these dear beloved servants stay perpetually free.
तार द्वारा को न लोक दुख नहीं पाया, कहा के ओ मने प्राणे दुख नहीं द्वाया। हर्ष मर्ष भवोद्योगी ये से बेसे मुक्ता, अतएव मोर भक्त अति प्रिय युक्ता।
They never coerce others into some adversity. They never bring to others mental pain or misery. By always keeping balance through both happiness and grief, my dear beloved servitors are always linked with me.
लोक व्यवहारे भक्त सदा निरपेक्ष, उदासीन गत व्यथा शुचि आरदक्ष। शुचि हाय मोर भक्त ब्रह्म से स्वभावे, जाति बुद्धि नाही कर भक्त से वैष्णवे। जड़ कार्य हर्ष दुख ये जनेर नाई, त्याजी आठे से आलंकृत चिंता यरनाई। शुभाशुभ परित्यागी एवं भक्तिमान, अमार से प्रिय भक्त ताहा के सम्मान।
By neither celebrating nor lamenting mundane things, by neither giving into greed or needless worrying. Renouncing the auspicious and the inauspicious too, devotees garner my respect and love in all they do.
शत्रु मित्र अपमान किंवा निज मान, जड़ मुक्त मोर भक्त मान ये समान।
Again, please hear as I describe my faithful devotee, who sees others as spirit, not as friend or enemy.
शीत ग्रीष्म सुख दुख एक एव माने, संग मुक्त से ही भक्त स्थित आत्मज्ञाने। तुल्य निंदा स्तुति आर संतुष्ट गंभीर, निकेतन तार नाई मति तार स्थिर। सेई मोर प्रिय भक्त सेई भक्ति माना, भक्तेर लक्षण यत करिनु व्याख्यान।
Impartial and adjusted both in fame and infamy, untouched by heat or cold or happiness or misery. Consistent in self-knowledge, shunning harmful company, content with very simple things in quiet harmony. Detached from any dwelling, my determined devotee forever renders service and is very dear to me.
ये शुद्ध भक्ति एवा करिबे साधन अमृत से धर्म जान जड़ विलक्षण ताहा ते ये श्रद्धा युक्त अनुकूल प्राण अत्यंत से प्रिय भक्त अमर समान
The spotless souls who practice pure devotion in this way, connecting with me properly, their hearts imbued with faith. Will savor nectar free of gross material dismay. To me these precious souls and I are very much the same.
भक्ति वेदांत कहे श्री गीतार गान सुने यदि शुद्ध भक्त कृष्ण गत प्राण
Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti Vedanta Swami thus recites Sri Gita Gan to please the pure devotees always wrapped in Krishna's song. To please the pure devotees always wrapped in Krishna's song. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribo. Thank you, Radheshyam Prabhu and Hare Krishna. Very good. So we have all recited our chapter of Bhagavad Gita for today. This wonderful chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the two shortest chapters in the entire text, has three major sections. So I thought we'll just go back and review them very quickly. Huh? So in the beginning of the chapter, who can remember what question does Arjuna ask? Can anyone remember? Yeah, what is better, to worship Krishna personally or to worship the Brahman? So then Krishna replies that both paths are good, but the devotee is better off. Why? Because it's difficult to make progress worshiping Brahman. Most of India thinks that God is Brahman. Wouldn't you agree? Most people believe that ultimately Brahman is the greatest. And maybe Krishna has come as a representative of Brahman. But devotees understand what Krishna actually says in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the basis of Brahman. And that only foolish people think that I have come from Brahman. To such people, my true form is never known. So here and in other places in the Gita, Krishna answers this question very clearly. So then he goes on to glorify the devotees. They're very intelligent because they take the easier path. Who here has tried to make your mind think of nothing? I saw a cartoon about a Buddhist monastery where the rector is praising the student. I've noticed you've been particularly thoughtless lately. So to make our minds think of nothing is like trying to make a child sit still. It just is virtually impossible. See? Right here. Right? But if you let the child do something constructive, like crawling towards Krishna, then the child will be at peace and happy. And similarly, the mind needs something constructive. This is the difficulty of Brahman meditation. The mind is not cooperative. However, when we are serving Krishna in a favorable way, we are quickly delivered from the struggles of this life, Krishna promises. So, therefore he says, just think of me in my original form of Krishna, and you will get the highest goal of life. This answers Arjuna's initial question. So here, Krishna is saying, this is the perfection of life, to just think of me all the time. Just like a mother thinks of her baby child all the time. You cannot help it. Just as a lover thinks of the beloved all the time, spontaneously, automatically, you can't stop. In the same way, Krishna says, if you think of me like that, that's the highest perfection. But if you can't do that, that's all right. It's one of the most beautiful things about Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? It's ecumenical. It's accepting. Everybody is welcome to take part. So here's the highest thing. But if you can't do that, then practice bhakti yoga. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Just follow the rules and regulations of bhakti yoga. What does that mean? Offering obeisances, chanting japa, going to kirtan, offering all our food as prasad. All of these things are the simple practices of bhakti. And that's the next best thing to loving Krishna spontaneously. But if you can't do that, he says, then whatever kind of work you're doing, do that as an offering to me. Now, this is very difficult to do, isn't it? When we're going to school or we're doing a job, it seems like it's worlds apart from our spiritual life. And yet Krishna is telling us this is the next best option. If we cannot live in an ashram and practice sadhana all day, we can do the next best thing, offering our work or our life or our family to Krishna. It's not easy to do because they seem so different. However, look at Arjuna. Arjuna is a warrior, and Arjuna has to fight. At what point in Bhagavad Gita does Krishna say, you sit down, I'll take care of everything? Right? He's constantly telling Arjuna, you have to do your fighting. So in the same way, we also have to learn how to do our work for Krishna, how to raise our children for Krishna, how to study for Krishna. All of these things are an offering to Krishna. Yat karosi yadasnasi yat jahosi dadasi yat. He says, whatever you do, do as an offering to me. In this way, you will develop the desire to come closer to me, and your practice of bhakti will increase. But if that's too hard, you can still work for some kind of higher purpose, some charitable cause. If you don't want to work for the supreme cause, Lord Krishna, at least work for some charity, Krishna says. Work in a selfless way. Why? Because that will bring you peace of mind. So, the best thing, in summary, is to serve in ecstatic love. If you can't do that, practice bhakti yoga. If that is too much, then study and learn and work for Krishna. Then, if you can't do that, try to do some kind of selfless work, and that will make you happy. In this way, Krishna is opening the doors to spiritual life for every serious person, every sincere person, no matter what their capacity. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. Never in my Christian upbringing, with all due respect, did I hear anything so accepting and loving and open. So Krishna is so kind. He wants everyone to come to him. This is the next section of the Gita. Finally, in this chapter. Now, the rest of the chapter is devoted to discussing the qualities of devotees. So as time permits, I'd like to do that with the remainder of our class also. So as we're reading these qualities, please try to think of one that you would really like to develop. And after we finish reading, then we'll take discussion. All right? All right. So Krishna is saying, my pure devotees always manifest these qualities. They're kind to everybody. They're not envious. They see the spirit in everybody, and they can feel others' pain. Parakara upakar. They know that everything is Krishna's, and therefore they recognize that nothing belongs to them. This is the consciousness of a devotee. Srila Prabhupada tells a story about a man who ran into a bank and said, I renounce all the money in this bank. And the banker said, my dear sir, this money does not belong to you. So to say, I renounce this world is like that. It's not ours to renounce. We don't own it. We don't even own this body. It is all given to us by Krishna. It is all his property. So devotees do not try to enjoy that which is Krishna's. Devotees are very determined. They are enjoying their service to Krishna. They're evenly disposed to happiness and distress. They are freed of the ordinary pressures of material life. They don't make others put others in difficulty or try to bring them distress, but they keep balanced in happiness and grief. And such servitors are always close to Krishna. I'm going to stop here actually, and just because these are all so good, they're all worth discussing. Anyone like to discuss this? How about this attitude of not causing anyone distress? Is it possible to have a discussion? We have a lot of background noise, which we'll do our best. Huh? Okay. So can we get somebody with a microphone? All right. Who would like to share their thoughts about not causing others distress? Anybody? Yes, Prabhu, over here. I caused you distress by asking you to please chant.
No, it was a great pleasure. I could not do it so well.
You did very well, thank you.
When others are okay with us, it's very fine. But when they are going against our desire, will and wish, then it's very difficult to be kind, and then we get disturbed.
We get disturbed. Does anyone else have this experience? Yes. When others are going with us, we're all good. When they're going against us, then we may want to square or get even with them in some way. So what is the alternative to being angry with somebody? What is the alternative? If you're angry with somebody, what is the opposite of that?
Forgiveness.
Yes, to forgiveness. Bhima Dev tells King Yudhishthira, the way to get free of anger is only through forgiveness. Now, how do we forgive somebody if we feel like they're going against our interests? We have to recognize that they are just the agent of our karma, right? Tatenu kampamsu samikshamano. First thing is, I am responsible for this suffering, not this other person. There's a saying in America, if you point a finger at somebody, you have 3 fingers pointing back. So therefore, if you're angry at somebody, you have to point like that. But in fact, when we're angry at somebody, we're just expressing our lack of self-realization. When we're angry with somebody, we're just indulging one of the pushings of the mind. Why? Because anger never makes a situation better. If somebody's going against us, in fact, they probably like us to be angry, right? So getting angry is like saying, I'm mad at you, I'm going to drink a glass of poison and get even, right? In other words, I'm going to pollute my consciousness because of you. So I'll drink this poison and it's all your fault, right? This is called self-defeating behavior. Therefore, when somebody is going against us, as devotees, we need to feel a freedom from wanting revenge. Now, they're making us suffer, so it's natural. Well, they should know our pain so they'll stop hurting us, or they won't hurt others also, right? Therefore, they should feel our pain. But how does Krishna feel if we are wishing ill on one of his beloved servants? Huh? Does that please Krishna? No. So we have to meditate like this. May they learn in joy. May they learn in joy. And with goodwill, understand, if I were not in the material world, I wouldn't be feeling this anyway. So to forgive is the first step, the alternative to being angry. This is the quality of a devotee. It's not sentimental. Oh, I forgive you. It's self-protective. I forgive you because that's much better than being angry at you. Is that all right? Okay. It's a discipline. It's not easy, but it is the only alternative. Yes, Prabhu. You had a question, Prabhu? No? No? Radhe Shyam, Prabhu? No? No?
Basically, the question was that at what levels we can not cause distress to others. So one is at bodily platform. Some species we need not harm them physically, like the non-human species. And that is at bodily level, we should give them protection and not cause them distress. At mental level, we should not give anxiety to others by our actions and by our deeds or by our words. And at emotional level, also we should try to understand, put ourselves in their situations and sympathize with them in different situations. Like that, we can protect ourselves from giving distress to others. And even at spiritual level also, sometimes the problem may not be at physical, mental or emotional level, but of course the real problem is spiritual. But like that also, by giving spiritual solutions to all the problems, we are protecting ourselves from causing distress to others.
By saying the spiritual solution to all problems, we're protecting ourselves from causing distress to all others. Beautiful thought. In other words, if we put our spiritual life first, automatically we will not cause distress.
I mean to say, we should preach. By preaching, we are protecting ourselves in the best possible way by causing distress, by not causing distress to others.
By not causing distress, by helping others be Krishna conscious. We are automatically not putting them in distress, unless they happen to be our parents.
If I am not preaching, I am causing the greatest distress to others.
Yes, that's true. Yes, by not preaching, we're just competing for material resources. But if we're trying to help people in their spiritual life, automatically, in the long term, we're helping free them from distress. Short term, there may be a little stress. Why? Because we're confronting. Like Arjuna was feeling a lot of stress when Krishna says, you should fight. He said, first you tell me to be a yogi, then you tell me to fight. Make up your mind, right? And then he says, you say you've been teaching this to the sun god, but he's so much older than you. How can that be? So sometimes when we preach to people, it puts them into some temporary stress. But that stress will lead them to overcome all kinds of anxieties. Now Krishna says in the Gita that Nabudhi Beta Janayad, the wise should not disrupt the minds of the ignorant who are attached to fruitive work. However, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that the devotee, understanding Krishna's desire, will go against that instruction on Krishna's behalf. So sometimes we may cause a little distress, but that's only because we're helping them. Just like if you go to the dentist, right? What does the dentist say? This will not hurt very much. But we undergo that pain voluntarily. Why? Because we know if we don't, there's going to be greater pain in the future. Okay, thank you. All right, any other thoughts about this subject? Yes, Mataji, can we pass the mic then?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for a nectaring class. Please accept my humble obeisances as your aspiring servant. Prabhuji, my question is that whatever qualities Krishna said about his pure devotee in 12.13 to 12.20, can we manifest these qualities during Anartha Nivritti stage, or we will manifest these after Anartha Nivritti stage?
Right, and the Anartha Nivritti stage comes after we have begun practicing sadhana, we have association to devotees, and then we begin to get freed of bad habits. So can we manifest the good qualities while we're getting freed of the bad habits, right? So those two things happen simultaneously, don't they? In other words, when we are relieved of bad habits, the new habits have room to come in and take root. It said it takes like 2 weeks to develop a bad habit and 2 months to get rid of it. So the Anartha Nivritti stage can be a little rocky, where we're getting rid of bad habits. However, as the bad habits fade, the new habits begin to emerge. And that is a beautiful experience. In fact, that experience is so strong that it leads us to the stage of Nishta, where we no longer have any doubt about the progress of our spiritual life. So yes, the good qualities can manifest even in the stage when we're offensive or we're still short of the mark. Just like we are traveling, if we're traveling to Bombay, we're going up the highway. Well, we're not in Mumbai yet, but we see the sign, so many kilometers to Mumbai. So we read the qualities of the devotee, we see where we are going, and then we watch for these qualities to manifest in us. Krishna is the doer, we're not the doer. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana. Krishna in the heart gets rid of hibhadrani, vinunoti saritsatam. He gets rid of the bad things. We cannot do it by our own efforts. So therefore, part of getting rid of bad habits is learning to trust Krishna. In the Alcoholics Anonymous program, people who are addicted to alcohol, the first principle they have to learn is that I am helpless. I do not have the power to overcome this addiction. I depend on a higher power. for that purpose. So we are also like sense gratifiers anonymous. We are addicts, long-time addicts to material life. So we come to the meetings, we admit our helplessness, and we turn it over to Krishna. Krishna, if you like, you can manifest these qualities. Krishna, if you like, you can free me of these bad habits.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Behind you, Mataji. Yep.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you said, I feel if we are balanced and settled or peaceful inside, we will not cause disturbance to others. And if we are disturbed, then we will definitely cause disturbance to others also.
Very good point. Yes, if we're disturbed, we will cause disturbance to others. So they say that charity begins at home. Right? We start, in fact, that really is the only thing over which we have control, isn't it? And even our own emotions that cause us disturbance, we don't have control over them. And they are realities. See, it's a big problem if we're trying to do the right thing and then these emotions come up in our heart that are against the values we are pursuing, right? Anyone experience that? I don't want to feel envious, but I do. I don't want to feel angry, but I do. I have no control. So what do? We have two choices. We can pretend that we don't feel this way and show to the world, no, I'm cool. Or we can admit to our mentors, to our friends, and ultimately to Krishna, I'm going through these things right now. I don't want to feel this disturbance, but I am disturbed. So this is a very important lesson from the Gita also. We see Arjuna approaching Krishna and being very honest about his feelings. So similarly, when we're chanting Krishna's name and we feel some kind of unwanted emotion, we can chant with that emotion. Krishna, here I am, all jealous, but I'm chanting your name anyway. I am depending on you, and this is where I'm at. So what good can repression accomplish? Better we learn to recognize these disturbances and tolerate them. We don't have to act on them. We don't have to pretend they're not there. We just acknowledge them and we carry on in spite of them. It's like if we broke our wrists, well, maybe part of our service we can't do as well, but we go on doing the best we can with what we have, you see? So ideally, we're serving Krishna, we're feeling very blissful. If we're feeling disturbed, we go on serving Krishna anyway, in spite of our disturbance. Okay. With that determination, then we have the intelligence to avoid spreading our disturbance unnecessarily. Okay. Yes, sir. Speak into the mic. Okay, good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question is to ask how to maintain our mental pain or misery and how to see Krishna in our own hearts and others' hearts.
And when we're having mental pain or misery, how do we see Krishna in our hearts and in others' hearts?
Yes,
how old are you?
I'm 10, Prabhuji.
I wish that when I was 10, I was asking questions like that. Krishna is in everyone's heart. We know that intellectually, right?
Yes.
And yet we tend to see other people as their bodies. Yes? We tend to see other people in relation to our own desires. If this person can gratify my desires, I like them. If they can't, I have no need for them. Yeah. So this is the mentality of the materialistic mind. Friends and enemies. I like this person, I don't like this person. The quality of the devotee is seeing beyond that bodily concept. Can this person help me or not? We don't see anymore in that calculating way. How do we see? Vidya vinaya sampane brahmani gavi hashtini shunis triva swapakecha pandita sama darshina. That we see everybody as beloved to God. Because God has created them, God knows them intimately, God knows everything about them, much more than they know about themselves, or certainly more than I know about them. They're my brother, my sister. Why should I not appreciate them? In fact, in the later chapters of the Gita, Krishna talks about how a person who is spiritually endowed will see everybody in a loving way. Whereas a person who is materialistic will see everybody differently according to their body. So when we are thinking in terms of our nationality, our ethnicity, our gender, our age, our family, our gotra, our state, this is all material concepts of life. So you ask a good question, how do we come to this higher stage? The answer is chanting Hare Krishna. One of my godbrothers used to stop. Anytime someone would start a question with, how do we? He would say, chant Hare Krishna. We need the enthusiasm to keep practicing bhakti and yet the patience to allow it to work. So it's challenging on both respects, but we can do it when we realize that we are safe in Krishna's hands. When we're chanting, even if we are disturbed, when we're chanting, even if we don't have spiritual vision, that's all right. Krishna is still accepting us, and He will guide us, and He will help us. Tesham satata yuktanam. To those who worship me with love, I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. So Krishna will give you that intelligence if you just keep chanting. That all right? Okay. Thank you. Other comments or questions? Yes, Prema Ras Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful insights on this topic. So Prabhuji, in the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 33rd verse, Krishna says that even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the 3 modes. So this is one level of understanding, and then we have another level of understanding where Krishna along with his associates is appearing in the material world. So he's got 2 purposes. One, to establish relationship with the devotees, to give them bliss, and second is to also protect dharma. And then we see that Krishna does that and his associates, they also do that. For example, the Pandavas, they also display anger so that they can protect dharma. As well as Hanumanji also. Prabhupada gives example of anger in Krishna's service, which is Hanuman and Pandavas. So like it becomes very tricky sometimes because we have to also show that kind of level of anger to people, you know, because they should not take advantage of us. At the same time, being a devotee, we also want to transcend the modes of material nature. So how to exactly balance it out, like is a matter of duty as well as a matter of transcending the modes of material nature.
Right, we have to learn how to use anger and not let anger use us. Yeah, we can use anger in Krishna's service to protect dharma. However, if we become out of control with anger, then we are not serving Krishna. We're all about some ulterior motive. Yes, so how to reconcile when Krishna says we have to act according to our nature, and yet he's asking Arjuna to transcend his natural feelings. So this is the 3rd chapter of the Gita. It's early in the game. It's early in the discussion. Right now, Krishna is telling Arjuna, learn how to work without attachment. You're too attached to the results. First thing is just work without attachment. And you're going to have to work anyway because this is your nature. You can't avoid it. But later he's saying that if we act for his pleasure, then we rise above even the modes of nature that determine our nature. Okay? So service to Krishna, in other words, is always transcendental. And whatever our nature may be, we can offer that to Krishna and then be less affected by the modes that push us in a particular way. This is called the Shuddha Sattva stage, or Shuddha Sattva stage, where our spiritual personality is manifesting. Our material personality, our material nature manifests already in the material world, but the spiritual side, that is self-realization. We come to discover who we really are. We come to discover our unique way of pleasing Krishna. Ultimately, we find our position in the spiritual world. As we grow in that direction, then the previous conditioning we have begins to loosen its effect on us, or lose its effect on us. So that nature, in this chapter, Krishna is telling Arjuna, hey, your nature is a Kshatriya, you've got to fight. But that's just one of his subordinate arguments. Ultimately, he's saying, if you fight for me, you will rise above the modes of nature. Is that all right? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on these? Yes, Prabhuji.
When I read this chapter, I always get, many times I got this question is the last Lord is saying Ativa Priya. They are very, very dear to me. And previous so many verses Lord says they are dear to me, dear to me. So what is the meaning of last verse and how it is different? Like what is to be done to become most dear? That's what he is saying. Ativa Priya. You also wrote in English. Yeah?
Right, the spotless souls who practice pure devotion. So what is this way? He's explaining, impartial and adjusted both in fame and infamy. Okay? That people may like or not like what we do. We're not affected by the dualities that inevitably come in this world. Consistent in our pursuit of self-realization, being selective about who we associate with, living very minimally, very simply, and not attached to any particular place or situation. So the devotee puts serving Krishna first in every situation. All of these things manifest if we do that one thing. We try to please Krishna first in every situation. Then the good qualities all manifest. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunar tatra samasate sura. Just by trying to please Krishna in all situations, all the good qualities manifest. Okay? So that devotee, Krishna says, is very, very dear to me. Neither celebrating or lamenting mundane things, not being greedy or worrying. Worrying is the mode of what? What mode causes us to worry? What? Passion, passion, we're looking ahead, right? Passion, what's going to happen to me tomorrow? Right? Ignorance means, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that, if I'd only done this. This is lamentation, looking backwards. So in passion, we're looking forwards, in ignorance, we're looking backwards. Where are we in goodness? Yes, we're looking right now. Okay, how can I serve Krishna right now? Then we're rising above the modes of nature. Krishna I see your question because Krishna is describing the qualities, but these qualities manifest automatically. That's the point. If we're trying to please Krishna, the good qualities come out. And that's the beauty of devotional service. That's what convinces us very deeply about the power of bhakti. We're always trying to change ourselves, to fix ourselves. People sometimes say, I've got to go and work on myself. I've got to go into silent meditation for a week to work on myself. Well, if we could have worked on ourselves, why didn't we do it a long time ago? If we could have fixed ourselves, why haven't we done it yet? What is it going to do to focus now on that self-conscious, self-serving idea of fixing myself? You know, this is like a dog chasing its tail. You know, it's just going nowhere. We break out of that cycle by trying to please Krishna. Whatever happens to me, that's up to Krishna. Let me try to please Him. That's all. However inadequate I am, let me try to please Krishna. One of my godbrothers asked Srila Prabhupada, what kind of person would Krishna like us to be? And Prabhupada answered a very interesting way. He said, you are very sincere. That's all he said. So we can read between the lines, Prabhupada is saying, as if you could be somebody other than who you are. So you're so sincere, you're willing to change yourself, as if you could. So he knows that Krishna will automatically change if we are sincere in our purpose of serving Him. See? So thinking about whether we have these qualities or not is self-conscious. Thinking about whether Krishna is pleased is Krishna conscious. So Krishna is saying, try to serve me, and then He's describing the qualities of one who tries to serve. All these qualities manifest on their own by Krishna's grace. Okay? Yes, Prabhu. And then you next.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, ultimately our objective is to try to please Krishna. So on our day-to-day basis, how can we judge whether we are pleasing Krishna or not? Because to develop these qualities is actually very difficult. It's going to take millions of lifetimes for conditions like me. But on a day-to-day basis, how do we judge?
If we are feeling happy in our service, that's a good sign that we're pleasing Krishna. Yeah? If when Srila Prabhupada was asked this question, how do we know if we're pleasing Krishna? He said, if you see Krishna smile. If we see Krishna smile, how do we feel? Oh, we feel very happy. But practically speaking, if we are feeling content in our service, in our chanting, in our reading, we're grateful for Krishna consciousness, that's a good sign that Krishna is pleased with our efforts. If we're not feeling content, then we have to find out what is the cause of my discontent. And this is where Bhagavad Gita begins, right? So it's okay. If we're discontent, that usually means Krishna wants us to do something else or something more. He wants us to increase. Look, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam was written by Srila Vyasadeva, right? But how does he begin the book? Third chapter, he's saying, so one day Vyasadeva is sitting and he was very depressed. Such a nice literary device. Here's the author saying, I'm very depressed. Why was I depressed? Because I wasn't focused on Krishna enough. Right? So it's okay if sometimes we're not feeling blissful in Krishna's service. Then we ask, okay, why am I not blissful? What is Krishna telling me this way?
Prabhuji, like, I'm not sure whether Srila Prabhupada said this or not, like knowledge, culture and devotion. So like, first we should get knowledge and we should follow that culture and then devotion will come. So how does it relate to this?
I'm not familiar with that quote.
Or it's like, basically the theoretical is just like this English translation of the verses. So understanding this, these are the qualities that we should develop. So having a knowledge of them and then seeing other devotees and other, the culture of that being exhibited, that will guide us to the devotional list.
Okay, that reminds me of the phases of learning anything. Okay, the first phase of learning anything is that we're ignorant and what is the word? We're incompetent and we're ignorant. Okay, that's it. Unconscious incompetence. Yes, we don't even know what we don't know. Like, for example, if you had to do brain surgery, well, you wouldn't know what you don't know. You're not a surgeon, right? Okay, good, just checking. So yeah, unconscious incompetence is the beginning. We don't even know what we don't know. Then there is conscious incompetence. Now I understand that I'm not very good at this. Now I understand, I'm learning about bhakti and I understand, oh, I don't know how to do this and that, I'm making offenses, I'm consciously incompetent. Then the next stage is conscious competence. You could say that's culture, okay? I'm consciously doing the right thing because I'm really focused on doing it. And then the final stage, unconscious competence. Without even thinking, I do the right thing. This is the stage of pure devotion, where Krishna is acting through the devotee. It was wonderful seeing Srila Prabhupada manifesting this all the time. Because he was absolutely resolved within himself, my goal in life is serving Krishna. Krishna was acting through him constantly. And so he advised us like that. Just try to understand what is Krishna desiring. He's giving us messages. Sarvasya chaham redhi sanivishto. Matat smatir jnanam apohanam cha. So the culture of bhakti is conscious competence. Let me do the right thing. Devotion is unconscious competence. Automatically I do the right thing. Okay? Jai. Hare Prabhu.
Briefly introduce you. Many have.
Okay, see what.
Can any of you guess in what age His Grace Kalakantha Prabhu came to Krishna consciousness? He was just an 18-year-old college student.
Not even.
He received a copy of the Sri Ishopanishad book from a Harinam party in America when he was in the college. And he joined the ISKCON Portland temple, a small temple at that time, in 1972. So in 1973, Prabhupada gave him the first and second initiation. So he became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and 10 years he was going on BBT library party. Prabhu, was this library party going to universities and putting books?
Yes, selling books to professors and libraries.
Selling books to professors and universities, university libraries. He was doing that, and he was also serving as a Bhakta leader in ISKCON LA, and opened a college preaching center in New York, Delaware, and then later on he helped ISKCON North America shift to a congregationally based movement. the early days ISKCON started with, a few brahmacharis in New York. When Prabhupada moved to San Francisco, slowly the Grihastha Ashrama started. And as in America, many people became Grihasthas. So at that time, right now, His Grace Kalakantha Prabhu has a unit called as Krishna House. Practically in more than a dozen places I know in America itself and other countries also. So through this Krishna House, he gives training for boys and girls in Krishna House, and then many of them become very successful Grihasthas and also preachers also. And they open Krishna House centers in many other places. Also he served as an editor for Back to Godhead magazine and secretary for ISKCON GBC. In the last 12 years, he developed the Krishna House project in Gainesville, Florida, a very dynamic and successful college preaching center. So he has written many articles in Back to Godhead magazine, and also he has written many books, including A God Who Dances, and the one which you saw, the Bhagavad Gita song. Very rhythmically he has written all the 18 chapters in a poetic format. Are the books available if somebody wants to take the talk? This talk is over, is it? Okay, so tomorrow morning Prabhu is going to give a Srimad Bhagavatam class. You are most welcome, and also please inform others and bring everyone. And Monday morning, our camp temple, Radha Kunjibari temple.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning, here, right here in the same place. So he has written the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of Divine, and many other books too. So he's also written ISKCON manuals on fund development and dispute resolution. He is also an initiating spiritual master in ISKCON society. So we have been inviting him to ISKCON Kanpur temple and ISKCON Pune temple here. And we also wish that he visits other places. Even in India, other places like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Calcutta are very eager to invite him. Because he is especially a preacher amongst the college students in America. There are hundreds of students in Krishna houses. So I have personally visited the Gainesville Center, where I got to see their very vibrant morning program, very enthusiastic students. I was telling him that I was reminded of the early days of ISKCON, how it was, devotees would roar like His Grace Vishnu Swami Maharaj and his troop. So like that now the Krishna house is not only practicing, they also distribute prasadam in the college daily, full prasad for almost 800 to 1,000 people every day. And they also preach in the colleges all across America. So he is with us last few days. And tomorrow the Bhagavatam there's only one Bhagavatam program tomorrow here, I think. After that, in the Kunjibari temple. Tomorrow evening, it's in a GGD voice. Okay. So thank you very much, Kalakantha Prabhu. It was very enlivening to... Oh, this is the Krishna house I was telling. Yeah, we can make it full screen, I think. Below. It will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
For some reason it won't cooperate.
F5.
No.
Oh, there are other files are open.
Yeah.
There are other files also open. Is it?
Yes. No, it's not.
So this is a Krishna house I was telling you. It's like a big family, huh?
This was Srila Prabhupada in San Francisco in 1965.
Oh.
Like that.
Yeah.
Big. We just try to do what Prabhupada was doing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
You see that family mood? Yes. So these young boys and girls who joined Srila Prabhupada, some became sannyasis, great leaders. Prabhupada canonized Jayananda Prabhu there on the left. Jamuna is there, Malati and Shyamasundar did a huge service. So anyway, yes, this is, thank you very much, Radheshyam Prabhu is a big hero of mine, because the scale on which we do things in America is like, it's kind of like a pimple on the elephant compared to India. We do, it takes years to have one person join sometimes. And yet, here so many people are coming and getting the benefit of a beautiful temple like this and all the Sangha. So anyway, I come here for inspiration. And we...
Coming and inspiring all of us. Please keep coming, always. We'll thank Prabhu with loud Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna! Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Kalakantha Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Yes. Yes.
But in today's current modern situation, it has become very difficult